Hi, everybody. I talk very loudly, and so I'll try not to shout into your ears. My name is Courtney Kurlanska. I'm a cultural anthropologist in the IGSD, GPS, or dare we say the global school, perchance. I'm here to talk to you today about research I did while I was on IQP with some students in Monteverde, Costa Rica. So this examines the intersection of the social and solidarity economy and sustainable development in that city. So what is the social and what is the social and solidarity economy? This is an alternative economic strategy that puts the importance of social connection and the environment ahead of profit, or at least on par with profit. It's often referred to also as a collective economy, and we can see the growth of the social and solidarity economy as evidence that there is a shift in how we view economics, and that we're beginning to see a more collective approach to understanding economics. One of the key issues about the social and solidarity economy that's important to this research is that generally it is locally based and comes from the bottom up, from the community where it started. You've all heard of the Sustainable Development Goals, or the SDGs. A lot of people assume that they are a direct product of the Millennial Development Goals, and this is actually generally a false assumption. The difference between the two is where they came from, right? So in order to understand the Sustainable Development Goals, you need to understand that they really came out of the Brundtland Commission and Agenda 21. And so the distinction is that they have a collaborative, holistic, and empowering approach that needs to engage government at all levels in order for them to be transformative. And that's how the United Nations has developed those SDGs and their goal with them. Okay, so that takes us to Monteverde, Costa Rica, where this research was conducted. This is a unique community in that country. Population of about 7,000 individuals. It was founded by Quakers in the 1950s, and there's a combination of Quakers, Costa Ricans. There's a huge expat population, and it's an ecotourism hotspot, so you have a lot of environmental researchers that live there as well. It is where the cloud rainforest is, and there's been a reserve there since 1975, which attracts to this small town 250,000 visitors annually, right? So this gives us a unique hotbed of where we have a lot of different things coming into play that provides the foundation for the social and solidarity economy there. So Costa Rica takes Sustainable Development Goals very seriously. They see it as part of the national pact that they've made with the people. And they focused on three main areas that address poverty, production, consumption, and infrastructure and communities. They've recognized that in order to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals, that they need to take a holistic approach. And 2 years in, they did this evaluation of a specific number of goals to see the kind of progress that they're making as a country towards achieving the SDGs. When you approach any large problem like this as a country, there are generally some traditional strategies that you would use. You set your goals, you make targets, you determine your indicators, right? And then you'll come up with governmental policies, programs, and initiatives to help reach these goals. That way it can be evaluated, right? What they find across the board when they do things like this is we get mixed results, right? There's no one strategy that's gonna be successful. And some of the problems that you encounter, and we saw this with the Millennium Development Goals, and they're seeing it with the Sustainable Development Goals as well, when you take a national approach, some of the policies you implement reinforce inequality. They're often not appropriate for the local context where they're implemented, and they can even be very disempowering to that population. Okay, so this brings us to the social and solidarity economy in Monteverde, and how does it interact with sustainable development? What we have are a few of the different social SSEs in Monteverde. One of them is an artisan co-op. It's been around since the 1980s. It's a female cooperative, and they work together, they teach each other different skills, and they serve a number of the tourists that come, right? We have the PSM, which is a sustainable agricultural organization, which was just getting off the ground while we were there. It was actually one of the IQP teams was working with them. And they're really working to promote food security within the community. So they've gotten cut off from food supplies in the past and had to have it airlifted in. They're also working on more sustainable production and educating the farmers on how to do that. And then we have the Fondo Comunitario Monteverde, which is actually travelers' philanthropy. And what they do is they collect direct donations from tourists, but they also sell a number of products, and a percentage of the proceeds from the sale of those products go to a community fund, and they fund community initiatives that the community members propose. So they could be environmentally based, they could be youth programs, whatever the community wants. If it fits into their agenda, then they will fund them. And then the last one there is a cooperative of organic coffee farmers who also do sustainable tourism and agro-tourism. So people come see how they do the coffee farms. And this one promotes both the sustainable tourism and the production of organic coffee. And you can see the other picture there is just an example of how prevalent this idea and this perspective is the flyer that was just posted in the community while I happened to be there about looking beyond traditional capitalism. So what the main point I want to draw out of this and the relationship between the social and solidarity economy and sustainable development is to understand how, as opposed to top-down approaches, which we often see happening from the national level in these initiatives, the social and solidarity economy is able to address many of the issues of sustainable development from a bottom-up approach. And if we look at number 1 and number 8, right, we can see that all 4 of those organizations are helping to address this sustainable development goal, right? And if we look across the board, we can see that these 4 organizations are addressing 10 of the sustainable development goals at the local community level. So while it's not a replacement for national level policies and initiatives, the social and solidarity economy is an excellent alternative and companion to helping countries reach those priorities. And if we look at it in relation to Costa Rica's national pact that they have in relation to sustainable development, a number of the work that the social and solidarity economy organizations are doing align with these issues as well, which are a focus of the country's national pact.